brief you today on her discussions with the ministers, and then we'll move on to your questions. High Representative.
Good afternoon, everybody. First, I would like to start with expressing my condolences for Vietnam and Bangladesh for the fatalities caused by recent floods and earthquakes. Today, the Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum brought together 64 countries, from east coast of Africa to the Pacific Islands. This speaks volumes about our relationship and our shared appetite to work together. Europe and the Indo-Pacific are at the pivotal moment. We are committed to free trade and open sea lanes. But both regions face challenges, from export controls to climate change and wars. A major focus today was maritime security and the protection of our undersea infrastructure. These systems are essential for global communication and energy supplies. They carry 95% of our trans-regional data flows. After this press conference, I will host a separate event focused on maritime security. We are launching a new initiative to find ways to better protect critical maritime infrastructure. We want to encourage the development of creative ideas to protect our infrastructure and increase our resilience against potential threats. The EU's broader partnership with the Indo-Pacific has three main pillars. First, security and defense. We have two key partnerships in the Indo-Pacific with South Korea and Japan, but we also work closely with many others. Just this month, EU and Indian warships together ended a pirate attack off coast Somalia. Second, economic ties. Since the EU signed free trade agreements with several Indo-Pacific nations, bilateral trade has grown by over 40%. The EU has recently concluded a free trade deal with Indonesia and is now working to finalize one with India. We are also currently negotiating with other countries that join us today. Free trade benefits citizens and businesses in both regions. And third, sustainability. The EU promotes growth through investments. These include global gateway projects that support farmers, improve digital innovation, and boost connectivity. The EU is also a key partner in addressing climate change. At COP30, we discussed how we can help the region improve resilience to the climate impacts. And yesterday, for the first time, our ASEAN partners joined us for European Foreign Affairs Council. Looking forward, we are working to upgrade our ties with ASEAN members to a comprehensive strategic partnership by 2027. And finally, Ukraine. Russia's war against Ukraine is an existential threat to Europe. We all want this war to end, but how it ends matters. Rewarding Russia's aggression will not make Ukraine, Europe, or the Indo-Pacific safer. Russia has no legal right whatsoever to any concessions from the country it invaded. Ultimately, the terms of any agreement are for Ukraine to decide. The EU has a simple two-point plan: support Ukraine and pressure Russia. The EU is providing record levels of military support to Ukraine to help to defend itself, and we will continue to do so. I will end by stressing that today's geopolitical challenges call for closer partnerships in security, growth, connectivity, and climate action. Europe and Indo-Pacific are stronger together. Thank you.
Thank you. Now to your questions, Vitaly.
Thank you, Vitaly Sizov. Freedom. I have two questions. Could you clarify what you discussed in terms of Ukraine? Maybe you raised the questions of the role of region in peace process in Ukraine, and maybe in context of shadow fleet. And the second question, you always said that aggressor should not be rewarded for aggression. From your opinion, this new plan of United States, how it address this position? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Today is supposed to be the day when the sanctions, US sanctions against Russia will kick in. I hope we don't see today a decision that these sanctions are postponed, because then this is exactly what Russia wants. Also, what Russia wants is that we, postpone the discussions regarding reparations loan, that the frozen assets will not be used in the benefit of Ukraine. So what is our response? We should be very firm that we are not walking into these two traps. With our Indo-Pacific partners, of course, we discussed also the security situation in Europe, and also then Russia's war against Ukraine, and how it is a threat to the Indo-Pacific security as well, and as it is a threat to the international rules-based order. This is what everybody committed to around the table, saying that UN Charter is the charter that should be upheld, and all the principles within it. We, of course, as we extensively discussed Shadow Fleet, and what we can do yesterday, then we address this issue specifically with those countries that have, the fleet. But more broadly, the focus and discussion was about maritime security as such. I mean, freedom of navigation, but also how environmental risks that the Shadow Fleet vessels are bringing about to those countries is a danger for them all and for us all. So we discussed how to cooperate on these issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Valentina.
Thank you, Valentina Vasileva. I have follow-up for Vitaly questions. I would like to ask about Indo-Pacific partners of the European Union, what exactly they can do to help you to support Ukraine and to help Ukraine not to agree to this peace plan, which seems to be unacceptable neither for Ukraine nor for the European Union. Thank you.
Thank you. Of course, we didn't go into so much details because we were discussing our bilateral relationship with the Indo-Pacific partners, with the focus on specifically on maritime security. But everybody touched upon the international law and how it should be upheld, and also that Russia's war against Ukraine is a blatant violation of international law and the UN Charter. And of course, it gave us the possibilities to explain how we see things and what is at stake, really. I mean, of course, Europe wants peace, Ukraine wants peace, but for any peace to be sustainable, it has to have certain elements. If you just give in to the aggression, then you invite for more aggression. And this is dangerous not only for us in Europe, but also our Indo-Pacific partners, because all those countries around that might have an appetite for their neighbors' territories will learn that this is okay. It pays off. And this is a very dangerous moment for all.
Antoine.
Thank you, High Representative Antoine Muto for Japanese TV and HK. As China has been also on the agenda today, have the uprising tensions between China and Japan been addressed as well during this meeting? And since you are mostly very outspoken on China, could you maybe provide us with your personal assessment of the situation? Is this a concern for the EU that two major countries of the region are undergoing this dispute? Thank you.
The increasing tensions in the Indo-Pacific are, of course, of concern to us. And of course, today we were focusing on the relationship, how we can bring those tensions down and how we can cooperate on various issues. Of course, different worries about different conflicts were raised, and tensions in the region, and how we can better address these issues, really being there with our partners and listening to what they have to say about these tensions. What we see right now is that Japan's representative was also explaining what is at stake and how they see this picture evolving. But for us, it was important to focus on, our future relationship. It wasn't really, discussing all these issues very much in detail.
Enter.
Thanks, ma'am, for giving a chance to ask your question. I wanted to ask you, do you think in a way President Trump's policies towards the EU, but also towards other countries in the Indo-Pacific have brought you two together? And what's the vision here, broadly speaking? And secondly, what role do you think India plays in this Indo-Pacific EU ties? Do you see India as a counter to China? Do you think EU can lure India away from the Russian sphere of influence via enhanced strategic ties and more trade through the FTA, which has been discussed? Thank you.
Thank you. In the light of recent geopolitical shifts, of course, we see and feel very much that all the countries around the world, not only in Indo-Pacific, but also other countries, are really looking into diversifying their relationships. And that is what we are also doing today. Building, free trade relationships with countries in the Indo-Pacific, but also in the Latin American, African countries, to find new possibilities, not to put all the eggs in one basket, but really to see how these relationships can contribute to the diversification of, trade and diversification of defense and security relationships and partnerships as well. So today really mapping the areas where we can cooperate. Regarding India, we have the negotiations of our trade agreements going on right now to, again, diversify the trade portfolios, give the both the Indian as well as the European side and companies and businesses more opportunities to expand their markets. Thank you.
Thank you. We will have the next working session starting, so I'll give you the last question.
This is Manas. I'm a journalist from India. India and European Union are negotiating a defense framework agreement as well as a separate agreement on security of information. So do you think these two agreements will help both sides expand cooperation in the Indo-Pacific? And second brief question, both the sides are closing their negotiations for the proposed FTA. There are a number of complex issues. They are yet to be resolved. So is you and India going to sign a limited trade deal, or you are kind of still going for the ambitious FTA? Thank you.
Thank you. Security of information and the connectivity was also one of the topics that we discussed and have, of course, discussed also with our Indian counterparts, because we see it part of a broader security arrangement. Today, also many countries raise the issue of sharing intelligence when it comes to our mutual risks. So definitely we explore the ways where we can cooperate. Coming to your other questions regarding the FTA with India, India is a very tough partner, so the negotiations are very hard. But I think, if the negotiations are very intensive and comprehensive, but also very tough, then the result is also, good for both parties. Good agreement is when nobody's happy. That means that everybody has compromised. But the work is ongoing, and I can't give you a date. What I can tell you that there's a genuine interest on European side to conclude such agreement.
Thank you very much. This concludes our press conference. Thank you for your interest. Good afternoon.
Thank you.